Good day. Really, if you could clone dinosaurs, why would you? What purpose would they really serve? Well, Michael Crichton answered that question. You put them in a theme park and make a lot of money. And really, a dinosaur theme park would make a huge amount of money. Even in this economy, it would make a lot of money. People would go into debt just to see it. But really, outside of putting dinosaurs in a theme park, what other purpose would they serve? Well, the character Roland Timbo from Lost World Jurassic Park has a good answer for this.
Somewhere on this island is the greatest predator that ever lived. Second greatest predator must take him down.
That's right. Dinosaurs make awesome video game enemies. And the Jurassic Park franchise has generated a fairly large number of high-quality games where your main objective is making dinosaurs extinct all over again. Now, the game we're going to be taking a look at today is based on the second Jurassic Park film, Lost World.
The film itself was decent. In the past, I thought it was better than the first, but now I know that's not the case. Instead, the film is lacking in many respects. The so-called good guys are anything but. Ian Malcolm is pretentious as all hell, and Vince Vaughn's character is really annoying. Overall, the good guys were just stupid and caused the deaths of quite a few people due to their idiocy. You know what was good though? The cars. Those things looked awesome then and they look awesome now. And Roland Timbo, played by Pete Postlethwaite, was quite possibly the best character in the entire franchise. He had some really awesome lines and he and the hunters should have been the main focus of the movie. These guys were great, but no, we had to see a bunch of idiots that would spout out environmental idiocy now and again.
Thankfully, the arcade game follows the adventures of two hunters, with Ian and Sarah having to be rescued at the end of the game. So now, let's take a look at the game itself.
Now, this game does not use the multiple arcade machine emulator to work. Instead, it uses a fairly recent emulator known as the Supermodel emulator. It's an emulator that can run the old Sega Model 3 arcade system, and it does a fairly good job of it. Lost World Jurassic Park is a light gun game, and it strives for a bit more realism than others because it features limited ammo, and you have to reload. Unlike with many other light gun games, you don't just shoot hordes of enemies all the time. Instead, little bonus objectives crop up now and again. For example, you have to save your fellow hunters from being killed, and when you do, you get a power-up. Also, towards the end of the game, you have to memorize the number combination to a lock, and then shoot the numbers. The graphics, unfortunately, have aged badly, and that is one of the problems with 3D graphics from the late 90s. There is almost no way for them to age well. The sound design of the music is also subpar. The music tracks are very simple, and none of the tunes are catchy whatsoever. I've heard worse music before, but even this music is pretty bad. The sound design is both advanced and simple at the same time. While there is voice acting in the game, it's terrible. Just about everyone has the same bloody voice, and the pain sound that you make when you get hit is just hilarious.
Really? They couldn't come up with a decent pain sound? Even a simple grunt like, ugh, would have been better. You know, with the ability to create a convincing grunting sound, I could be a highly paid voice actor. I could be pained grunt number 3. But anyway, let's move on and take a look at the enemies.
Your main enemies are the raptors. Hey, what else are you going to do with them? They have some basic attacks like a claw swipe and a jump. If your reflexes are good enough, you can kill them all without taking a hit. You then have a smattering of other dinos as well, but the most hilarious enemy is the the one with the bald spot. Friar Tuck. Friar Tuck here shares the same sounds as the T-Rex. Just listen.
Couldn't they have used any other sounds? Was the memory really that low that they had to use a T-Rex roar for such a small dinosaur? Hell, other dinosaurs had unique sounds and they were only in the game once too.
You then of course have a number of boss fights with larger dinos, and they're all pretty fun and exciting. Lost World opts to give you places to shoot the dino so you don't just have to spray fire and hope that you kill it before you run out of quarters. Now my favorite boss fight is with the it's a bloody giant crocodile, because it really has good pacing. You never know when the thing is going to surface and try and kill you. Towards the end of the game, you have to fight an enemy that was mentioned in the book, a Carnotaurus. Wait, Roger Corman. No! Joke explanation.
Roger Corman was a famous B-movie director that primarily focused on creature films, and one of his films was based around a cloned Carnotaurus, and the effects were pretty special. Just think of bad animatronics and really badly shot forced perspective shots.
Roger Corman is a pretty easy boss to fight. All he does is run at you and open his mouth, probably to ask you to invest in Abominable Tickman Goes to Washington, and really, it doesn't take that long to kill him. Now, as with any light gun game, you have a number of power-ups. You can get a shotgun power-up that can kill numerous raptors in one shot, but one really weird one is the lightning gun power-up. Really, this guy you saved was running around with a gun that shoots lightning? Why did he need your help in the first place? Could InGen only afford 2 competent hunters and get the rest from a nearby paintball club? The lightning gun is the most epic in the game, because it doesn't get any more epic than smiting dinosaurs with the power of the elements.
So now, let's see this game's take on the story of Lost World Jurassic Park.
The main objective in the game is to rescue Ian Malcolm and Sarah Harding, the 2 main characters from the film. Before every new area, you see this map, and it's actually kind of funny. You've got jungle, lakeside, and labo. I guess that works, although why you wouldn't call it a lab, I don't know. You fight through the game in an awesome looking Jurassic Park car as one of 2 hunters that look a bit like Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler from the first film. You first come upon a InGen merc that says the camp was wiped out, but instead of asking you to save the remaining mercs, he says you have to go save Ian and Sarah for some reason. In the film, it was them who actually let the dinos out in the first place. So after clearing the encampment of dinos, you move on to try and save Jeff Goldblum and some other idiot. You encounter a Triceratops that you can save from raptors, but if you don't die right off. Instead, you just crash, crawl out, and fight some raptors. Then the 2 hunters are somehow able to push the car right side up again. Who knows, maybe they do a lot of push-ups? After fighting through a variety of areas, you finally arrive at the InGen Site B laboratory. And after killing a bunch of raptors within, the hunters decide to use a zip line to reach the building with Ian and Sarah. When they get on the zip line, they get attacked by pterodactyls. So after killing an entire air corps of pterodactyls, you finally meet up with Ian and Sarah, and they of course look nothing like they did in the film. And Ian sounds nothing like Jeff Goldblum. Just listen.
Mommy's very angry.
Like the movie, Ian and Sarah take an injured infant T-Rex to their main headquarters, a pair of trailers. And we do get a bit of English.
Aid is now over.
First aid is now over, eh? Alright then. Also, how did no one notice the raptors that were in the trailer? They just sort of teleport in. And there is another thing. Look at this scene.
Oh, that had to hurt. What kind of animal carries their young like that? And you can even hear a pain sound from the infant. No wonder those bloody things went extinct.
And really, the rest of the game goes about like you would expect. You fight the 2 T-Rexes and you end up getting rescued after having killed off half of Site B.
So, is Lost World Jurassic Park, the arcade game, superior to the original Jurassic Park light gun game? Well, I would have to say no.
The original Jurassic Park arcade game actually had a pretty good soundtrack, and the action was extremely frantic. The levels were also fairly unique, and you had a fairly large number of enemy types. Really, the main issue with Jurassic Park was its punishing difficulty, and that's the one thing that Lost World has improved upon. You actually stand a good chance of beating Lost World since you're not constantly being barraged by dozens of enemies. But in my opinion, I still have to say that Jurassic Park, the arcade game, is the better of the 2, but not by much. Jurassic Park is about a 95, whereas Lost World is a 90.
Now this game is rather fun, and if like me you actually played it in the arcades but were never able to finish it, I highly recommend giving it a download. So this is GeneralLotz wishing you good. Area 51, Site 4. Good maximum force, or whatever makes you happy.